The morning air was cool and breezy. A black motorcycle made a low rumbling sound as it rolled up a ramp toward a very tall building. This building was 47 floors high and made of shiny metal and glass. It looked like a giant tower in a superhero movie. It stood tall in the middle of the busy city of San Francisco. On the motorcycle sat a quiet man named Keanu Reeves. He was calm and serious. His black leather jacket looked old and used, not because it was dirty, but because he wore it a lot. He didn't have guards or a driver with him. He didn't want people cheering or clapping for him. He just wanted to be there quietly. Keanu took off his helmet. His hair was black with streaks of gray, and his eyes looked smart and kind. He looked at the front doors of the big building like someone who wanted to find the truth, not fame. This wasn't just any building for Keanu. The company inside it was called Vidian Quantum. A while ago, Keanu gave them a lot of money because they promised to build kind and helpful robots and computers. But recently, Keanu heard that the company was hiding things and not being honest. So, like he always does, Keanu came to check for himself. He didn't tell anyone he was coming. He parked his motorcycle on the side, not in the special spot. He didn't want attention. Just then, a very fancy car, a Rolls-Royce, zoomed in. It drove fast and almost hit Keanu's bike. The bike shook, but Keanu grabbed it quickly and kept it from falling over. The car stopped with a loud sound. Out stepped a man in a shiny blue suit and gold tie. He wore sunglasses and had a proud look on his face. He looked at Keanu's motorcycle and made a mean face. "You almost scratched my car, you crazy person," the man said rudely. Keanu didn't say anything at first. He just took a deep breath. The man walked closer and looked at Keanu like he was looking at a bug. "You delivery people have no manners," he said. "Did you think this place was a fast food shop?" Another man standing nearby laughed. He was holding a clipboard. Even the security guard smiled a little. Everyone knew the rude man. His name was Marcus Vane. He was the boss of the company, the chief operating officer. "I thought this place was for smart people, not motorbike messengers," Marcus said, shaking his head. "Move that rusty thing out of here before someone thinks we're in a parking lot in Oakland." The security guard laughed again. Marcus got even closer and whispered, "Here's some advice, pal. When real business is happening, people like you wait outside." Keanu gave a little smile. "Thanks for the tip," he said. "I'll remember that." He walked back to his motorcycle and put on his helmet. What nobody noticed was the tiny letters inside his jacket. KR Holdings. That meant he owned something big. Actually, he owned the company. But no one knew. Not the valet, not Marcus, not the clipboard guy. Keanu wasn't just visiting. He was the boss. Keanu rode away on his motorcycle quietly. Meanwhile, Marcus walked into the building like he was the king. His shoes made loud sounds on the shiny floor. He didn't look back. He didn't care about the man on the bike. He thought Keanu was just a delivery guy. A woman at the front desk gave him a nervous smile. "Good morning," she said. Marcus didn't smile back. "Get me an espresso in the boardroom," he said rudely. "No sugar. And tell Tr. Junes I want the numbers for the Shanghai project. Now." Behind him, the big glass doors closed softly. Keanu walked in after that. Quietly. Calmly. No one really noticed. He carried his helmet in one arm and walked like he was just visiting. He nodded at the security guard. The guard looked confused, like maybe he recognized Keanu but wasn't sure. Marcus stepped into a private elevator meant only for top bosses. Two young workers were already inside. They moved to the side quickly when Marcus came in. "You," Marcus said to one of them. "How's the report going?" I wasn't working on that," the young man stammered. "Then maybe that's why the company is losing money," Marcus said meanly. "Do your job or get out." Ding. The elevator stopped. "Get out," Marcus said again, even though it wasn't their floor. The two young workers left quietly. Marcus looked at himself in the mirror inside the elevator. He fixed his tie and smiled. He liked being in charge. He liked when people were scared of him. But today, something very unexpected was going to happen. On the top floor, there was a big boardroom. The walls were made of glass, so you could see the whole city. There was one long table with 12 chairs. 11 were already full. Everyone was waiting for a big meeting. They were talking about the new mystery investor who now owned most of the company. 51%. I heard he's from Saudi Arabia, someone whispered. I think it's a group from Singapore, another person said. Whoever it is, they're late, Marcus said loudly as he walked in. He sat down in the chair at the end of the table like he was the boss. Because until this morning, he was. Did anyone see that crazy guy on the bike? Marcus laughed. Looked like he was delivering food. Some people chuckled, but not because they thought it was funny. No one really liked Marcus. They only acted nice because he had a big title. Hope security keeps that guy out, Marcus added, sipping his espresso. Wouldn't want someone who smells like oil sitting next to our important guests. Suddenly, the door opened. Footsteps entered. Sorry I'm late, a quiet voice said. Marcus stopped. He slowly looked up, holding his cup in the air. It was the man from the motorcycle, Keanu Reeves. He walked in calmly, like it was no big deal. Everyone stared. No one made a sound. Keanu walked toward the head of the table, where Marcus was sitting. His helmet dangled in one hand. With the other, he slowly unzipped his jacket. All eyes followed him. Only Marcus's face changed color. First pale, then red, then pale again. His cup shook a little. Keanu Reeves stood at the head of the table. He looked around the room. Then, softly but clearly, he said, Mr. Vane, thank you for your service. But this company needs new leadership. You're fired. Gasps filled the room. Marcus couldn't believe it. But, you're just. I'm the majority owner of Vidian Quantum, Keanu said kindly. And I believe in respect, kindness, and doing the right thing. He turned to the others. Let's begin. And just like that, everything changed. As he put it down, Marcus turned to see who it was. His voice caught in his throat. Keanu Reeves gave a small polite nod to everyone sitting around the big meeting table. Hi, he said kindly. I'm Keanu Reeves. I'm from KR Holdings. I bought 51% of Vidian Quantum 3 weeks ago. My lawyers sent over the papers. I think you've all seen them. The room went very quiet. People looked nervous. Heads nodded slowly like they weren't sure what to do. Some people started whispering to each other. A few grabbed their phones. One woman quickly shut her laptop, her face tight and worried. The chair at the end of the table, the most important seat, was empty. Just a moment ago, Marcus had been sitting there. Keanu walked over, pulled the chair back, and sat down. Right in the seat Marcus had been in. Marcus didn't move. He couldn't. He felt frozen, like his body forgot how to move. His heart beat fast. His brain was yelling, "No, this can't be real." Keanu gently set his motorcycle helmet on the table. Then, like he just remembered something small, he looked at Marcus. "Oh," Keanu said. "We met earlier, didn't we? You said something about smelling like gasoline." Someone in the room coughed. Another person looked down at the table. Marcus tried to smile and laugh. "Mr. Reeves, I didn't know. I didn't realize you." Keanu cut him off, still calm. "You saw someone who didn't look important. Someone who didn't dress like a boss. So you judged them. You said something rude out loud for everyone to hear." "I meant no harm," Marcus said quickly. "But you did harm," Keanu replied. "And worse, you assumed things." The room got so quiet it felt like sharp glass had broken. Everyone could feel it. Marcus's smile was fake now. "Look, it was a mistake. I thought you were just." Keanu lifted one hand, not in a mean way, but clearly telling him to stop talking. "I came today to just listen," Keanu said. "But I've changed my mind." He opened his briefcase, took out a small laptop, and tapped on the keyboard. The big TV on the wall turned on. A spreadsheet filled the screen. It showed lots of big money transfers. Keanu didn't yell. He didn't need to. His calm voice made everyone listen. "These are payments made to a fake company," he said. "That company is connected to someone working in our office. Those payments were approved by our chief operating officer." He looked straight at Marcus. "That's you." Marcus shifted in his chair. It made a small squeak. "This is crazy," he said. Keanu interrupted again. "No, this is stealing. This is breaking trust. And this is over." He stood up. "Security will walk you out. Right now." 2 security guards came in, quiet and serious. Marcus stood, his face red and shaking. "You think you can just walk in and—" "I didn't walk in," Keanu said calmly. "I owned the door." And with that, Marcus Vane, who used to think he was the boss, was taken out of the room. The door closed softly behind him, but it sounded like a loud bang to everyone inside. No one said a word. It was the kind of silence where even breathing feels too loud. Everyone just sat there, unsure of what would happen next. Keanu was still standing. He didn't look angry. He looked serious, like someone who really cares. His eyes looked around the room. Not mean but deep. Some people looked away. One woman took off her glasses and cleaned them, even though they were already clean. A man played with his pen nervously, like a student who might get called on next. Finally, Keanu spoke. "I didn't come here to make anyone feel small," he said, calm again. "But I also didn't come here to stay silent." He walked to the head of the table and put both hands on the shiny wood surface. This company was supposed to build good things. Helpful things. Not just for money, but for meaning. When I gave my money to this company, it wasn't just a business deal. It was because I believed in it. But belief doesn't mean being blind. And it doesn't last if people cheat. A woman finally spoke up. It was Layla Song, the chief financial officer. "We didn't know Marcus was stealing money, Mr. Reeves. None of us saw it coming." Keanu looked at her kindly. "Maybe not. But what did you see?" he asked gently. "Did you notice how he treated workers? How he laughed at people who didn't look rich or powerful? Did you say anything when it happened?" Layla looked down. She didn't answer. Keanu pressed a button. The screen changed. Now it showed 3 words. Respect. Transparency. Impact. He pointed to them. "These aren't just words," he said. "They're promises. If we can't treat the person at the front desk, the janitor, the intern, or even a guy on a motorcycle, with respect, then everything we make is already broken." The room started to change. Some people nodded. They understood now. Keanu's voice became softer. "I'm not here to tell you what to do every day. I won't bark orders. But from today forward, I will lead by example." He pointed again to the screen. "These values, these rules, are not up for debate. If you can't live by them, then you don't belong here." Another quiet moment passed. Then the head of engineering slowly raised her hand. "I'm with you," she said. "It's time this company had a heart." Others began to nod, one by one. Keanu sat back down. It felt like he brought balance to the room. "Good," he said gently. "Now let's build something that matters." His phone buzzed. A message from his assistant popped up. "The news is out. CNBC wants a quote." Keanu typed 2 words. "Not yet." He looked up again at the people in the room. They were his team now. This was his company, his future to shape. Outside, the sun shone through the San Francisco fog. A bright light hit his motorcycle parked by the curb. Keanu smiled for the first time that morning. If you've read this far, maybe you're the kind of person who doesn't judge others by their clothes or what they drive. Maybe you believe that what you do matters more than what you look like. The news hit the internet before lunchtime. Vidian Quantum COO fired in scandal. Keanu Reeves becomes surprise boss. Hollywood star or corporate hero. Everyone was talking about it. People on LinkedIn shared it like crazy. On Twitter, a new phrase started trending. #motorcycle mic drop. But none of those posts showed what really happened after the door closed. Inside the room, people sat in quiet little groups, talking carefully, like they had just walked off a battlefield. Layla leaned toward Keanu and whispered, "What's your next move?" Keanu looked at her, still seated at the head of the table. His fingers tapped gently on the wood. "That depends on yours," he said. Layla looked surprised. "Mine." "You knew something was wrong," he said. "Not the money part. Marcus was good at hiding that. But the way he treated people, the way he led through fear. You saw that. Layla let out a deep breath. She looked ashamed. I didn't know how to stop him. Keanu didn't get angry. He didn't scold her. He just nodded once. Then help me stop it now. Across the table, Arjun Mehra, the head of engineering, leaned forward. I tried to start a whistleblower program, he said. A way for people to speak up safely. But Marcus blocked it every time. Keanu didn't wait. You'll have the money for it today, he said. Arjun blinked. Just like that. Keanu nodded. Yes. Because doing the right thing should never be hard. And with that, a new chapter for the company began. One where people were heard. Where values mattered. And where a man on a motorcycle could lead with kindness, not power. Keanu gave a quiet smile. He said, when you take out the bad stuff, it's easier to make the right choices. Then he stood up. He walked to the window on the 47th floor. The city was huge. It stretched far, far away in every direction. There were taxis, people walking, horns honking, and soft fog moving over the bay like a blanket of time. Down below, near the sidewalk, his black motorcycle, a Ducati, was still waiting. Nobody had touched it. It looked calm and cool, just like him. A voice from behind him spoke. That guy this morning, Marcus. He really thought you were just a food delivery guy. Keanu didn't turn around. That wasn't the problem. He said, with a calm voice. The real problem is that Marcus believed he could treat people however he wanted. That no one would stop him. That being powerful meant he could be mean and still get away with it. There was a long silence. Then Keanu said, that ends today. We're changing the rules. He turned to look at everyone in the room. There was no shouting or drama, just clear eyes and calm words. We're going to build a company where everyone gets respect, he said. From the person who cleans the floors to the person who makes the big decisions. And no one should be scared just because someone else is louder. He reached into his jacket and took out a small notebook. He opened it to a new page. A name was written at the top. Layla peeked at it. Who's Zara? She asked. She's someone I met on the bus 3 weeks ago, Keanu said. She's 15 years old. She taught herself how to write computer code using an old tablet. She told me she wants to change the world. She starts here on Monday. She's getting a full scholarship and an internship. Someone make sure she has a laptop. Keanu zipped up his jacket. He was done for today. He looked around at the people in the room and said, when Zara walks in, let's make sure we don't look anything like the company Marcus built. Then he left. Meanwhile, Marcus Vane was sitting alone in the back seat of his big fancy car, a Rolls-Royce. It was parked in a dark underground garage, 2 blocks from the Vidian Quantum office. His tie was loose. His face was still red where security had grabbed his arm earlier, not to hurt him, but to show him he was no longer in charge. It was final. He couldn't come back from it. His phone buzzed again and again. Every 30 seconds, a new email came in. From legal people. From human resources. From public relations. From 2 news reporters. And one from someone with no name. It only had 2 words. Told you. He didn't open any of them. He just stared at the window, looking at his own reflection. The man in the glass wasn't the powerful, scary boss he had been that morning. No, he whispered to himself. That man's gone. Peeled away, layer by layer, in front of everyone. He clenched his teeth. He's just an actor, he told himself again and again. But deep down, he didn't believe it anymore. Back at the company, things started to feel different. Like thunder far away, Marcus's fall still made noise. Before noon, 3 people sent emails to the HR office. One was from the receptionist. One was from a new engineer. One was from a janitor named Hector. He had almost quit 2 months ago after Marcus yelled at him in the lobby about a coffee spill. The funny part? It wasn't even Hector's spill. But today, Hector showed up with a smile. The air felt lighter. The building didn't feel heavy and mean anymore. Layla Song, one of the company leaders, walked around the engineering floor. She hadn't done that in a long time, not just to check on the work, but to listen. She sat beside a tired young developer who had just finished working the night shift. They shared a sandwich from the break room. Just 2 days ago, that would have been seen as weird or wrong for a boss to do. But today it looked like leadership. But not everything bad had gone away. In a quiet room filled with computer servers, a man named Arjun Mehra looked at old records. He checked who had used the company's systems. The files Keanu had shown earlier were just the start. Arjun noticed something strange. Someone else had approved the secret money transfers. Someone had hidden their name very well. Arjun frowned. Marcus didn't do this alone, he said. In another office, Keanu stood at a whiteboard. He was drawing arrows between secret names and companies that didn't look real. His sleeves were rolled up. He held a black marker. Beside him stood Zara, the 15-year-old girl from the bus. She looked up from her laptop, her eyes wide. Who was he paying? She asked. Keanu pointed to a box on the board. It was labeled Echo Vale Limited. We're about to find out, he said. Then he put the cap back on his marker. One thing's for sure, he added. Marcus was just the beginning. Far away, across the city, Marcus stepped out of his car. He put on sunglasses and called someone. The person answered without saying hello. It's over, Marcus said. There was a pause. Then the voice on the other end said, calm and low, no, it's not. The elevator to a secret basement called Sublevel B5 had no buttons. Only 3 people had the key card to use it. Keanu stood alone inside the elevator. It hummed softly as it went down. In his hand was a folder. It didn't have a name on the outside, but inside was something very important. On the cover was a small sticky note from Arjun. It said, Echo Vale isn't just a fake company. It's a money pipeline. The elevator doors opened. The room was dark and full of soft blue lights and machines. Zara was already there. She sat on the floor with 2 laptops and some wires. She had connected them to machines most people didn't even know how to use. Without looking up, she said, I looked at the money records. Echo Vale isn't just connected to Marcus. She tapped a button. A big screen on the wall turned on. Lots of names showed up. Names from different countries. And at the very top of the list was one name they hadn't seen before. Thomas Verne. Keanu didn't say anything. But the air felt different now. Thomas Verne wasn't just anyone. He was the boss of the board. He was the one who had welcomed Keanu to the company 6 months ago. He was the one who talked about doing good things. He had even said Marcus could be trusted. Now it all made sense. Marcus was just the shield. Verne was the sword. Upstairs, Layla stood in front of the whole team. She read out a message Keanu had just sent. It was clear. It was strong. Bad behavior doesn't always scream. Sometimes it wears a fancy suit and calls itself a plan. But we will find it. And we will remove it. Everyone clapped. Not because they had to, but because they felt it. Something real had started. Back in the basement, Zara looked up. What are you going to do now? She asked. Keanu slipped the folder under his arm. His eyes narrowed. I'm going to give him one chance to quit. And if he doesn't? She asked. Keanu turned to her. Then we remind him of something. He paused at the elevator. That power only works, he said, when people are too scared to speak. It's easy to think that just because someone wears a fancy suit or has a big title, they must be a good person. But that's not true. Real characters shows up in quiet moments. When no one is watching. When the cameras are off. When someone on a motorcycle gets ignored. There will always be people like Marcus. But people like Keanu? They change everything, not by shouting, but by showing up, listening, and not giving up. Have you ever been underestimated? Have you ever seen someone in power be mean and no one stop them? Remember, you can be the one who stands up. Just like Keanu. And Zara. Because real change starts with one brave voice. And then another. If you like this story, tell me in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more fun adventures and mysteries. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.